Hey Falcon fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome to Atlanta Falcons Today. Very interesting video today, which you're going to kind of see my thought process here as we go along. I want to talk about the quarterbacks of the future for the Atlanta Falcons, whether that's Matt Ryan in 2022, trading for a quarterback, signing a quarterback, or drafting a quarterback. I'm going to give you all the potential options out there, and of course starting with Matt Ryan because he's the most likely one to be the quarterback in 2022. But either way, before we jump into that, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We are oh my gosh, so close to 4K subs. Like just a couple dozen away from getting to 4,000, which is a huge accomplishment in my opinion. I would greatly appreciate it if you like the Falcons and you just, are tired of watching SportsCenter and never seeing them talk about the Atlanta Falcons. That's all we do here on the channel. So if you enjoy Atlanta Falcons Today, go down below, help us out. It's free and give you a little red subscribe button to hit that down below and join Atlanta Falcons Today. All right, so as the title of this video mentions, let's talk about the quarterbacks. Now, I'm saying quarterbacks, what do you mean? I'm talking about the future of the quarterback position in Atlanta, most notably next year, right? Falcons are still in a playoff hunt right now. Technically sitting there at 5 wins, but the future still remains kind of cloudy in terms of what the Falcons are going to do with their 2022 season in terms of who the starting quarterback is. So let's go through the 5 best options, in my opinion, and break it all down in terms of what is potentially going to happen with the quarterback spot for the Falcons. Now, let me just say this. Matt Ryan is first on this list because the odds of any quarterback being the starter in 2022 not named Matt Ryan are very low. Like I want to preface that every quarterback we talk about after this, the odds of them being the quarterback over Matt Ryan are extremely low. And so we'll start with Matt Ryan because that's who I think will be the quarterback, and then we'll move on to some other options in case Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith want to do something crazy. But again, the odds of there being a different quarterback is very, very slim. Like first off, it's nearly impossible to move off of Matt Ryan based on his contract situation. I had people tell me, Thomas, like the Rams did it with Jared Goff, and there was obviously a team that was able to take on some of his money and pay all the dead cap space. Like either way, even if there was a Detroit in this situation, which we'll talk about, we'll show you some teams that might be able to do that, it still is going to be hard to do. The Falcons will eat a ton of dead cap money, and it just isn't a smart thing to do for the Atlanta Falcons going forward. Like actually trying to trade him is nearly impossible. It would take Matt Ryan this offseason demanding a trade, like being like, I'm going to waive my no trade clause, I'm going to, eat some money, I want out of here no matter what, and I don't think he's going to do that. So first off, I'll just say it's nearly impossible to move off of him, and I think that that's probably the right move to keep with Matt Ryan because he is having a good year. Like, he wasn't that great during that 2-game losing streak, but overall, Matt Ryan has had a solid year as he continues to do. Like, he's going to be a 4,000-yard passer. He's right now 13th in touchdowns with 16 touchdowns overall. Interceptions are high. I think that's the one big knock on Matt Ryan this year is that he's thrown too many interceptions, but he's also playing with a bad offensive line, bad receivers, and has to force the ball down the football field sometimes just to see if he can make a play. But his completion percentage remains inside the top 10, sitting there at 67.5%. So I still think he's a very viable quarterback even at his current age, but the contract is very hard to trade, which is why the point of this video is to say it's going to be Matt Ryan unless there's some sort of crazy move. Now, what could a crazy move be? Well, there are teams out there that need a quarterback, and so if you did want to do the nuclear option where the Lions, accept all this money and give away draft picks, a team would have to really want Matt Ryan, and to me, there are only 5 teams that could potentially want Matt Ryan. The most notable one is Denver. Denver right now is a football team that needs a quarterback and feels like they're a quarterback away, and I think they know they're a quarterback away. Now, they're going to try to go for Aaron Rodgers, and that's obviously what you probably should do, but if they get desperate and they, think that Matt Ryan would solve all their problems, then Denver could be one of those weird teams with a bunch of cap space next offseason. They have draft picks that could go ahead and make a move for Matt Ryan, although, again, the odds of any team doing that, very unlikely. Pittsburgh's up there as well, a little bit less free agent money, though, and so that's important to note. Washington will have money next year. They need a quarterback, even though Taylor Heineke has done a decent job. 5-win football team right now with Washington. Texans, they're probably going to draft a quarterback, but we'll throw them up there on this list. The Saints are another weird one, but I think they re-signed Jameis or draft a quarterback. I would not see them trading for Matt Ryan, but again, these are the teams that could do a crazy, Jared Goff Lion deal if I guess they really liked Matt Ryan and were desperate enough, right? Like, you gotta remember, the Rams really liked really liked Matt Stafford, and so we're desperate to get him. It hasn't worked out that great. I mean, I guess it kind of has, but it would take a Sean McVay type love from Vic Fangio in Denver, or Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh to actually do that deal, which is why I say very unlikely. Now, before we get into some other options in free agency and the draft, there are some people asking, what about the quarterback depth chart? What about the guys behind Matt Ryan? Rosen and Felipe Franks are not the future quarterback here. Like, there's almost legit no chance right now, and you saw what happened in the Patriot game where both of them came in and looked like deer in headlights. Like, these guys are not going to cut it, and they're not going to be I don't think, future backups going forward. I think Atlanta will have a better backup next year, but in case you're wondering, well, what if, you get rid of Matt Ryan and just start one of the younger guys? Neither of these two guys are going to make sense at all. And don't give me that Josh Rosen is good. He's been on so many teams. I mean, it's ridiculous. You can't keep track of him. No, I'm out on that. Okay, ad break, pin comment. We'll start with this down below. Answer, who do you want to be the starting quarterback in 2022? Matt Ryan, or somebody else? Type R for Matt Ryan or type O for other. Your thoughts down below right now. All right, so as you're going to see, if you wanted to move off of Matt Ryan, your options aren't that great. We'll start with free agent options, and there aren't a lot of good ones. The best name to me on the free agent list, if you wanted to bring in a guy who would be a backup at first but could take over for Ryan, heaven forbid he gets hurt or he doesn't play one next year, is Nick Foles. And you say, Thomas, why Nick Foles? Well, he's the free agent quarterback with the most actual experience, the most playoff experience, and I know that right now he's like the third-string quarterback on the Bears just because they're trying to, play Andy Dalton and they play Justin Fields, but Nick Foles to me can still play, and I think in the right system, he could be a very, I think, successful quarterback. You saw that in Philadelphia. Again, I don't think Nick Foles should be the quarterback in Atlanta. I would much rather have Matt Ryan, but I'm saying we have to give you options here. If they were to get rid of Matt Ryan some way, somehow, Nick Foles is one of the only real free agent options to me that makes any sort of sense. There is one other free agent option. I'll get to him in just 1 second. First, there is an insane deal going on right now on this Falcons Rise Up hoodie. This thing is sweet, and it's only $40 at chatsports.com/Falcons hoodie. Link is down below me in the description box right now. Again, $40, crazy good sale right now on the Rise Up hoodie. Highly encourage you guys to jump on that now because it's only going to be cold in Atlanta or wherever you live for, a couple more months here. So pick up the hoodie now. Great Christmas gift for the wife or the husband or whatever it is, and your special someone in your life. It's on sale right now, and it looks absolutely fantastic. Love this deal. Chatsports.com/Falcons hoodie. Okay, the only other free agent quarterback option to me that makes sense, and I actually like this one a lot, is Mitchell Trubisky. Now you're saying, Thomas, Mitchell Trubisky, he's the, former first-round draft pick, number 2 overall, who failed in Chicago, and the answer is yes, but Trubisky, as a backup who could eventually take over for Matt Ryan, like come behind Matt Ryan and learn in 2022 and then become the starter in 2023, isn't the worst idea ever. It's not the best idea. I'm not, floored about it, but he has done a very good job, in my opinion, of learning how to be a backup in Buffalo, and I think Brian Daboll has really taught him a lot of things that will help him going forward. I think eventually he'll be a starter in this league again. I think if you wanted to bring in a backup quarterback who maybe could take over as a starter in the future, Trubisky would be a decent option. Again, I told you, there aren't very many good options behind Matt Ryan, which is why we started with Matt Ryan and spent 5 minutes talking about why they're going to keep him. Next player on this list, although first, let me just show you this. These are the other quarterback options that you could have in free agency, not named Nick Foles or Mitch Trubisky. It's not good. Just FYI. Ryan Fitzpatrick, no. Tyrod Taylor, no. Jacoby Brissett, as a backup. Marcus Mariota, Teddy Bridgewater, none of these guys are better than Matt Ryan, obviously. So you could bring one in as a backup, similar to what the Raiders did with Derek Carr, Marcus Mariota, but just know that it's not that great in the free agent pool for quarterbacks. Now, we'll get into some draft picks here in just 1 second. First, will the Falcons draft a quarterback in 2022? Serious question. Do you think that they will take a quarterback in 2022? Type Y down below for yes, or type N down below for no. Now, if they were to draft a quarterback in 2022, there are a couple of options, right? You can take one in the first round or take one in the later rounds. If you want to go best quarterback available, it's Kenney Pickett, the Pittsburgh quarterback, who is probably going to be the first overall draft pick by the Lions, or a second or a third round draft pick by the Texans are up there. So if you wanted to do a nuclear trade up option, Pickett would be the guy that you'd want to do it for, because he's fantastic. The numbers are really great. 40 touchdowns, 7 picks. He's a true NFL quarterback through and through. It would cost you the sun, the moon, and the stars, which is why I would not do it, because I want to keep those draft picks. But if you really felt like the Falcons needed to get the best quarterback in the draft, Pickett is definitely up there on the list and probably is the best one. Other good quarterback options in the first round, obviously Malik Willis. He's probably going to be the second quarterback taken. Matt Corral is going to be right around there. Carson Strong is going to be a first-round draft pick as well, in my opinion. You might be able to mix in Sam Howell, maybe, but I think Sam Howell is going to be a late first-round draft pick or an early second-round draft pick as well. But if you wanted to get somebody in the first round with that first-round draft pick, Pickett, Willis, Corral, and Strong are going to be your options, I think, by the time we get to April. Now, before we go ahead and get into second-round draft pick quarterbacks, later-round quarterbacks you could potentially take to sit behind Matt Ryan, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, because we do crazy good draft coverage here. We are, at Chat Sports, to me, the best online draft coverage you can find. We cover all the news, all the rumors, all the highlights, all the updates, and so as we get closer to draft season, a couple of months away, go ahead and subscribe down below right now to Atlanta Falcons Today. Help us get to 4K subs. We're so close. We really appreciate you guys if you go ahead and hit the red subscribe button. All right, so later round quarterback options. Let's say they take a pass rusher in the first round, right? Who are your options within the second round? I think Desmond Ridder has to highlight those options. I don't think Ridder's going to be a first-round quarterback. I like what he's done at Cincinnati. If Cincinnati makes it in the playoffs and Ridder has a good game against Georgia as a 1-4 matchup, maybe he jumps up there. But I don't think teams are going to take Ridder over Pickett, Willis, Corral, or Strong. So I think you're going to get 4 quarterbacks in the first round. Ridder will be a later round draft pick, second or third. And if that's the case, then Atlanta could definitely go ahead and jump in on the Desmond Ridder train. Know he gets to sit behind Matt Ryan and then eventually become the starter. Other later round options here, not that great. Brock Purdy out of Iowa State, Keaton Slovis out of USC, JT Daniels, Georgia fans out there, is he going to come into the draft? If he does, he's not going to be a first-round draft pick, so later on, has a nice arm. Tanner Morgan out of Minnesota, Jaden Daniels from Arizona State, not the best options, but what they should have done last year, in my opinion, was take a quarterback in the second or third round. They did not. Kyle Trask left too early, and then obviously the A&M guy who I'm blanking on right now, he was drafted in the third or fourth round by the Vikings. But those are your options there if you want to get a quarterback in the second or third or fourth round. Okay, we'll finish by going back to my list. Again, number one on the list, and who will be the quarterback in 2022, based on my opinion, is Matt Ryan, right? Now, there are options. If you wanted to sign somebody to sit behind Matt Ryan, Foles and Trubisky are your guys. And then, of course, Kenney Pickett is the best of the 4 first-round quarterbacks. And so if you needed one, if you really wanted to draft a quarterback in the first round, he's your option. Desmond Ridder is the other one that can go in the later round, second or third. Either way, the quarterback situation in Atlanta, to me, is very fluid. You can't really trade Matt Ryan. You're stuck with Matt Ryan. I think that's fine. I think you got to spend your draft capital on improving the players around Matt Ryan, whether it's a wide receiver, offensive line, pass rusher, cornerback, safety, whatever you want to do. That's your best bet to being a successful franchise in the future. If you want to get a quarterback in the later rounds, that's fine, but that is your option and your full-on quarterback breakdown here for the Atlanta Falcons. Of the 5 that I gave you, Ryan, Foles, Trubisky, Pickett, Ridder, who do you want to be the quarterback in 2022? Let me know down below right now in the comment section. All right, ultimate favorite day on our Atlanta Falcons quarterback breakdown video. Again, make sure you guys are subscribed. Plenty more content coming up next couple of days and weeks. For Atlanta Falcons today, I'm Thomas Mott signing off for the rest of your day.